Okay, this afternoon, I'm here speaking with Mr. Olson. Mr. Olson, would you give us your full name?
Rex Edwin Olson.
And where do you reside, sir?
I live in Perry, Illinois.
Okay, and where were you born?
I was born in Jacksonville, Illinois.
Jacksonville, Illinois? And since then you've moved?
Grew up in Perry, in the Perry area, and been there all my life.
So you're pretty stable, you don't move around?
No.
Okay. Who were your parents?
Roy Olson and Mary Florine Bergman Olson.
Okay. And where were they born? Where were they?
My dad was born in Blanchardville, Illinois, and my mother was born in Perry, Illinois.
Okay. So actually your mother's family goes back quite some time in the
Yes,
same
the
area.
Bergmans go back quite a while in the Pike County area.
Okay. What type of occupations did they have?
My dad, he farmed, and then during the Depression he went into being an auto mechanic, and then he went back into farming. My mother was a teacher till they got married, and then she was a homemaker the rest of her life.
Okay. And did you follow your father in the farming industry?
Yes, I did.
Okay. That must have been somewhat rewarding for you also.
Yes, it was. Like any farmer, confused and ups and downs, and
Sure. I mean,
weather dictated a lot.
being a rural area such as we are here in Pike County, all the citizens are very familiar with the risks of farming.
Yes, they are.
That, you know, a bad year doesn't just affect the farmer here.
No,
It affects the whole community.
it trickles down, yes.
Yes, it does. And as a result, the farmers play a very important role in the community.
Yes, they do.
You know, they have a real leadership role because if they have a bad year, it does affect us all, and it takes a while to recover from that.
Yes, it does.
Now, what about brothers and sisters?
I had a brother and a sister,
Okay, what were their names?
John Olson and Dee Olson Krugler.
Okay. Did any of your other family members serve in the military?
My brother was in the Army Reserve.
Okay. Was he ever activated?
No.
How about your father?
No, he didn't serve.
Okay. He one of the fortunate ones either. Because of his farming industry?
Well, he was too young for World War I and too old for World War II, kind
Yeah.
of in between.
There's a lot of holes
Yes.
where the citizens of the United States missed military, not because they wanted to, it was because of their life as they were growing up or as they were maturing. It just didn't happen at that time. Now, when it came time for you to enter the service, do you remember how it came about that you had joined the service?
Well, I had just gotten married, just started farming. I got my notice to go take my physical. I didn't particularly want to go into the service, just getting started, so I checked into joining the National Guard, and they advised me to go ahead and take my physical. I went and took it, and I passed it, so then I went and joined the National Guard.
Okay, so you're talking about your notice. You're talking, in those days, young men received a draft notice.
I hadn't received that, just a notice to go for a physical.
Okay, but the physical is the first thing before
Yeah,
you
right.
get drafted.
It would have been coming before long.
Right, if you had passed the physical,
Yeah,
it would have come about.
right.
Young men today don't experience that.
No.
And a large number of veterans in our age group were conscripted or drafted into the service.
Yes.
So what branch of the National Guard did you join?
Well, I joined, it was in the infantry, in the Army National Guard
Okay,
in Quincy.
and is there a certain reason why you joined the Quincy unit?
That's the only one I could get in.
Okay.
They were filling up pretty fast at that time in 66, the build-up of the Vietnam era.
I can imagine. And it's also geographically
Right.
probably the closest to where you were farming. But today, there are other National Guard units
yes,
in communities around here that would have been available.
yeah.
When you enlisted in the National Guard, what type of a commitment did you, what did they require of you?
I believe it was 6 years.
Six,
Active reserve,
a combination of active and reserve?
active to duty and reserve unit.
And
And
the
then
period of service was for 6 years?
Right.
Okay. And after enlisting, what took place, if you can recall?
Well, as I said before, there was quite a buildup in the regular Army. I enlisted in February of '66. There were several of us waiting to go to basic training. Well, summer camp came and they told us that summer camp would be our basic training, which that didn't work out either. So I didn't go to basic training till March of '67. I was in a year before I even got to go to basic. And then I got out of basic and returned back to the Quincy unit. Spent 4 months in Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Okay.
Basic training and advanced infantry training.
So you were initially trained basically as a soldier?
As a rifleman,
And
yes.
then you received training as a rifleman.
Right.
Was the Quincy unit at that time an infantry unit?
There was a platoon there attached to Litchfield. The main company was in Litchfield.
Okay. And what did you do during the period, the 1 year period before you went to basic training?
Well, we had 1 weekend a month
Mhm.
of guard training.
Did they have some special things?
We
for
had
you?
training. We went to Springfield and qualified at the rifle range in Springfield, and
It's just general military training.
yeah, just military training.
And the reason I ask that is because the basic training gave you the basic skills and responsibilities of a soldier.
Right.
Just how to march and how to salute and how to wear your uniform and all the protocols.
Physical training and
Right.
mental training.
It would be kind of difficult to do those things in a unit for a whole year without knowing what you're doing.
It was a little difficult. Of course, some of the unit had their training and they knew what was going on. There were a few of us that didn't know.
You weren't the only one that.
No, I wasn't.
You know, there was several.
Yeah, I think there were about 30 of us who went to
Because at that
Fort
time,
Dix together.
at that time, basic training was mainly geared for men who were headed to the active service
Right,
and mostly to Vietnam. So
right,
they got a priority and you didn't,
right.
I'm assuming. So you went to Fort Dix. Did you go to any kind of what they call a military occupational skills training or an MOS training?
Oh, yeah, that was infantry training.
Okay, so you were basically what the Army calls an 11 Bravo, an infantryman.
Can you stop that a minute?